Africana Radio ni Modern Ghana kasebe na mo Facebook Live Sikka FM 895 Live, YouTube ya Sikka FM 895 Official, TikTok and X at Sikka FM. Enyimere nsema ye de som no ebini. Ghana Bar Association afie bia womo ayenhyiamu na afie die no womo aba beye awa santimantama hinkro kumase a ensema hodo bebre na mpanifo twotworo akwase no womo de ato dwa nwumre yi ye betese bi mo ade a kire wo
na ebeko independent presidential aspirant na kwa mebedi akwado na afa ne cheda o ka che Ghana fo nyina se obu ya anye di na fo hwese di roundment na nche bebodi amobia ahu no
abatu komi sign penny ma meje na dukoi mensan so de ato dwese wani edi omo nominations e ba nyina ombeto omwase no ma bitim sanfom so bi wo ma wo ya ye be fro no akwakwesiesi
na ebeko asokwa abatu obeja so obehye bedwedi madam Patricia apiajen de ene wako na for wako falo ne forms pepe da wodi nsem atu dwa chese de to so nan ya wo ba die ebaburu no wodo omo a behwe buma
Franka Krafo Adema Liberal Party of Ghana LPG Ora Kofi Akpalu enei wonoso akofali ni nomination a watchre sentia wapesa Ghana for eto abama no
na Deputy General Secretary Dima NDC abanye kuri Mustafa Bandi wacheze isia de MB for de mo ye no ade se nsekura titu ni kwan ahodo fa so FM fo bidim ewe police adwumani mu no ose ye manhwe mapa enkoso
anyimra nsem ka bo enim ho ne yasini koso a yebete semode asom asomfomienu eyeme mrantie nua ba maame efumwa kafena mene
berma sam kofi dogla gidi ansa no
takwa ne so ne ekogina ne aba besom
Sikka FM track 1 ye ne yakoro 89.5 e Sikka FM Sikka FM track 1 ye ne yakoro 89.5 e Sikka FM
Sikka FM 89.5 yes suma santimai Sikka FM 89.5 yes suma santimai
ne Ghana mai ewiase nyina ka ho afei gibra ene yentina simadia sedi animu ensam no yefangum
Sikka FM ufawom
yefri samna se awa Ghana Bar Association one mo akachi afie bia womo ayenhyiamu annual conference na afie die no womo aba beye awa santimantam ahinkro kumase heya na mpanifo twotworo bi ekoye mampani na adodankwa ekufado Ghana mampani wono so abadwumade na se enanu enyam bete akire wakasa ewo ho sanso ana santimawura King Solomon Pillar of Peace yewura enso akodwumade no asie bi na Godfred yebo adame ya wono so aye attorney general ane atwotworo ahodo bebre ene ko Ghana Bar Association wo conference no ase na adwumade na se no na asemte ya edaso na se conference ni nyira asema wo mo ekasa fa ho ene se abatuo ya ede ya nimu ye bema aye asomdwe emu adaho ebeye finchen fine enu ene beboa ama ye kebam kabia ye daso kuramu ye bekosoa ekuramu saa no ni asemte ya edaso peaceful, fair and transparent election, the key to sustainable democracy. Anoni asemtra na edaso. Na jumadi na siye ena chesa yewra Godfred yebo adamia wano eye attorney general wafro eye simpie no akasaye. Ne nkasa mu no na no wachira se de ne pass abai anasa baby baba na ne second term ni mfisha na ya tosumienu no ye be mo di brebu wom ti sa attorney general ene edini o anya sem keto na so ni nyina mu no wa mia ne ho adwuma no waye eno achi anu wo kyese wo ba sa attorney general no adwuma dia hodo bebre ana no office no ade titru ani iriga mani galansem ho asem ya na nsan ehho asode bebre o so wo ba bebre okoni bebre en wako chese galamse fo na ebeti ensase ya che wo mo ya yedo makwago gina mrana no mrana buabo mo asesei mrana ko ma chimpre asha hwang die nyina ni nyina nesini na so galamse kwen kenkon ni nyina asemi wono en wo hwe ya chese asha hwang yedi na semwa enti galamse kono wo bae wa yebi na dwuma sa attorney general no wom se adendie na nso wa ye na famu de aboa yenti said the era Godfred Yeboah Dame Attorney General within seminal atudwa our Ghana Bar Association annual conference no ase.
Illegal mining, Galamsey, continues to cause incalculable damage to our forest reserves and water bodies. In the teeth of the difficulties hospitals encounter in the courts in the prosecution of illegal mining offences, the criminal division has enjoyed some success, even though there is still room for more to be done. From August 2021 to date, at least 76 persons, including 18 foreigners, have been convicted. They include the acclaimed Chinese Galamsey Queen, Aisha Wan, who was convicted on 4th December 2023 of offences committed between 2014 and 2016 in the era of the previous government. Most of the convicts were sentenced under the new law at 995 to a minimum of 15 years plus a hefty fine for a non-Ghanaian. Currently, over 940 minimum of 15 years plus a heavy fine in the case of a Ghanaian and a minimum of 20 years plus a fine for a non-Ghanaian. Currently, over 140 cases of illegal mining involving over 850 accused persons are being prosecuted in courts in the Western, Eastern, Ashanti, Greater and Upper East regions of Ghana. Some are near completion. The unsung heroes of the Office of Attorney General are the Legislative Drafting Division. They are that army of well-disciplined, properly trained, meticulous lawyers whose task it is to set the legislative framework for all we do. Without them, none of the three arms of government can function. The Legislative Drafting Division has been responsible for carrying my vision of law reform in both civil and criminal aspects of the law. They have paid a great attention to the public policy of the law and have drafted in all about 60 acts of parliament and innumerable subsidiary legislation since 2021. Whilst placing on record the yeoman's effort to the various divisions of the Office of Attorney General and Ministry of Justice, which have kept the nation safe and sound, we cannot ignore the hitherto deplorable conditions in which state attorneys work. My visit to the head offices of various agencies under the Ministry of Justice revealed hugely undesirable working conditions and the lack of basic tools for service to the nation. In order to address this, February 2022, on account of a directive made by His Excellency the President for the Minister for Finance to assist the ministry with some funds for its operations, I purchased in all 91 vehicles for the ministry, which to date represent the biggest fleet ever acquired for the ministry.
Any ati Attorney General Yewura Godfred Yeboah Dame Enuachi and Ghana Bar Association President Ora Yawo a champion boafo no so kasa ne kasa no na fa free SHS so eno eche se policy no wa ha bebre e wo ho a esese abane hwe na osiesie.
Of utmost importance and very dear to me is the funding for and allocation for the running of the public school system, SITOs, especially at the basic level and general quality of education offered within our public school system. It is said that people who attend SITO are from poor and deprived backgrounds. The clear abandonment of the SITO schools reinforce the notion that our democratic experience under the First Republic is becoming one of elite freeloading. To invest in infrastructure in grade A senior high schools, where the children of the elite make up the highest intake, to the detriment of investing in SITOs can never be justified. The chasm that exists between our public basic schools and that of our public senior high schools should be a blot on our collective conscience as a nation. While I concede that the free SHS is very good and revolutionary, however, equal attention must be given to basic education at the public schools to ensure that they are not left behind. It is sad that many adolescent and teenage girls from poor rural communities cannot attend school during the period of their menstruation. This accounts for absenteeism during the BEC. Young girls cannot suffer because of biology. School attendance cannot be determined by the vagaries of the weather. Anytime I travel across this country and I see young Saito people wearing tattered clothes, walking to school buildings that at best should be crowds for wearing cotton. When I see pictures of people sitting on the bare floor in ramshackle buildings supposed to be classrooms. When I led a delegation of the GBA to Mepe to present educational items and saw the effects of the dam spillage on Saito education, I could not but feel sad as to how the political class and urban elite have become so insular and uncaring. These experiences led me to ask all male lawyers on Father's Day to make donations of sanitary pads to poor communities in every region, which was well received. It's my wish that it becomes part of our calendar even after my tenure ends. There is a need for us to take care for the vulnerable and sacrifice for the sake of our nation. We cannot live in urban areas and not think about the rural poor.
ene ati ye president Adama Ghana Bar Association Royal a champo boafo na wobobo hawa hodo a ekoso ewo yesuku so hodo emu na enuchi ana mampani na adodankwa ekufuado wono so ebekasa ne nkasa ne no chese na ban no adaso ade na koma soso obehwe ama efri SHS no chese wo hawo bia wo hu bia esese ana fei ye nwomasuya so na nkasa mu nso eno so da bana koma so oguso a wo ye hyehyɛ se de be ya yenuanom ye mofra yenyira ebenya nwomasuya papa so oman mampani na adodankwa ekufuado
public schools, that is schools funded by the taxpayer, should be free. All who would otherwise be unable to pay for their education. That is why the numbers of pupils who have access to secondary education has doubled since the introduction of the free senior high school policy. And that over 5.7 million persons have benefited from the policy since its inception. The full impact of this dramatic development will be felt in due course and will far outweigh the small number of privileged parents who can afford to pay for the education of their wards. Now, friends, members of the bar, let us continue to work together to build a Ghana that is free, just, peaceful, and prosperous. Let us ensure that our democracy endures for generations and generations to come, and that it remains a source of pride for all Ghanaians. I end by congratulating the outgoing executive of the bar, who have worked hard these last 3 years, and wishing the incoming executive, who will be elected at this conference, the best of luck and God's blessings on the discharge of its important duties.
ene ati Ghana mampani na adodankwa ekufuado
ma yento so da Femi Vanko independent presidential aspirant nana Kwame Bidiako esia de obeyi namsa afiwe abatu afintino nyasa kodakura edin watwini ti wakanse bebredu a ne 12 pillars ni ade wakama manfo gina nya muntiase na ne senke gina etia wade fase ne odon so obeso hurisa ne Ghana awoje ewom ni nti odon so beso be Ghana mampani sede be ya ni hyiemu na betimi aboa magane ho atoyen na mrekwane easy ajese obia emfa ne form sebra na fei onhwehwe bi na de senavata bia wotwi woli na ema omo kwan sede obia betimi anya akonya sonko na duru abato no so de betimi abakrata no so na Ghana ne bia hu obia na de opɛ no wotimi ato no so aba na ne sem ntenam se omanfo bia obia bontoa no obia yini running mate na besi nei Ghana se independent presidential candidate na Kwame Bidiako a the din adodo na de furniture dey wotimi ayi running mate bia edon 1724 padi for ma koyro muzo panyi wa be for wadi bibia bade da adwumadi yedie no ehia running mate ankasa na ode running mate yenya nwuse ukuta bi edenti na aba ne se ho adonya akonya sonko no ojo chimu da 1724 se nya bopo ye bintia ne mu ni ne mu no otwen nti era kra obebo oni kura opeso ye ne running mate din ne manfo gina ehu oni kura opeso obona chidom na afi abatoa din de sine ne su nyina no atumi abom na sene na Kwame Bidiako the new force leader founder our person Ghana ojisu odishi na so Ghana nya ho faso no edno sei erochire mu edechire yen.
The first time people of our generation has stepped forward to be a part of this national governance, and I thank God to be one of the people who have started this whole movement, making sure that people of our age, people that belong to the youth sector, finally are part of this movement and national governance of this country.
How's the campaign going? What's the feedback on the ground?
The campaign is good, and I must say that Ghanaians have been very much embracing. I am proud to be a Ghanaian, and I feel good to stand for the people of this nation. I know that we can build a better country by us, from us, and therefore I want to say that it's not just going to take the campaign to make this, but it's going to take the people of this country to decide and make this a better place.
One of the requirements in the form is for you to name your vice president. Will you tell us who this person is?
I would when the time is right. Like you always know, we unveil. So don't worry. Keep waiting. When the mask comes off, you will see that one.
Ednia utie ekofa bai new force do no nana kwame bidiako cheda independent presidential aspirant no try say nyakopo ya aduma obi anya abotoyem obebu ntin oni akopo so advice o ben run me to deal de umpebia no behunu ana ochechi mu so nkwa nei onya akonya so nko na for filing forms a ochiemu ediche
Yanto akasebono esoi na menko abatso komisan akache enye chedanko ene ko filing nomination mampane bere che Dr. Haji Mahmudu Bawumia ojiramo edema MPP amanyuko ekoye sanso na NDC amanyuko no wa national chairman ne atwotwo robi kan ho ya omri JDM so de ekoye na eno ana abatso komisan kire se wonde wata ho ene woje wo bibia wa opese wo be mampani bia wo de bra na ba file na numu ene wo che so de omudi beba ni nyina so ogege ni nyina wia ebiri wom enti obenya daje na woma bitibiti ni nyina mu ye fa wedi ani apesepesem ni ahwe ye biebiem pages to pages no ma hwem paragraph to paragraph on be hwere nyina na poso saa wo de oha wom no ansa wa fra wa be gidi wa de house ne wom ti baje na kwasiesie eno oche so ebiri wom pa ya wo de be saa de ni nyina enti wo beto ne boase ye fense review no wo beto ne boase pa no review ni nyina wa beti ni nyina mu apese ni nyina mu ahwe so habi ewo mu na ja wa fra na wa kwasiesie enti wo se wo bra wo de be sa review ni nyina ma me Jane adukwe mensa ade nsemi tudwa enne yenti no.
As in 2020 the commission has established 2 teams which have been tasked to review all forms submitted. The technical team has been tasked to review forms to ensure that the presidential candidates meet the qualifications as set out by law, namely that the candidate is at least 40 years of age, that he or she has satisfied all tax obligations, and that he or she has nominated a vice presidential candidate, among others. The second team, namely the IT team, has been charged with the responsibility of scrutinizing the voter ID cards of presidential candidates and their supporters, so as to verify whether the candidates and their supporters are indeed registered voters. Both teams have been provided adequate training and have been oriented to carry out their functions as prescribed by law. The guiding principle for both teams is clear. They are to operate within the confines of the law. They are not to exercise discretion in the matter. Above all, they have been tasked to be fair and yet firm in executing their duties. We have no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, that the process will be transparent, fair and peaceful.
Abatso komisai Mami Jane adukwe mensa enuachi mampania bereche Dr. Haji Mahmudu Bawumia okra frankadema MPP amanyoko wonso ekasai yentino.
I believe also that we should pray for the Electoral Commission. They do a very, very difficult job. Probably the most difficult job because whenever you go into an election, you're either going to win or lose. Usually the EC is the scapegoat for people who may not have won. So we want to pray that the good Lord strengthens them, gives them the wisdom. Pray for the chairperson, the deputies and the staff all the way through, the returning officers, presiding officers, all the staff will engage in this very difficult task.
Eliati ye Ghana mampani nana adodankwa mampani abereche Dr. Haji Mahmudu Bawumia mesemo ene bra ko file nomination no na wono so ekasai
ma yebna asante mantebe na femi fanko asokwa abatu mpetwa so na wemro shebetwedi madam Patricia apiaje ba ma party no nene wono so anya akunya sonko de reforms ekoye ko file pepe pese de hyetie na onya akunya sonko gubu na janse twefo we pini no na ochochi mu de twefo gina se ene isia de we akunya sonko etoso ednan awagya na edikan no odase pa embehua no so wo bambo moden asususu di musa mreko di afọ de to so wenu wasabai ne prensa so o ma so ni musa na prensa so e sie de nyame adom na akunya so kwasa ba no nse to so na ise die o ka se o na sia da ese na fatapa di nyina mu no o che se mode ma wo bon e wo pehia no so o nti hia se wo msasa to no so bio na to no so yi na watumi abefalo ne form di bia mu no zia de wo hwe no ma bebre wa ye no pehia no so o ne se na fata ne senti mabunu nyina so ka ho agya ne so obeyi de ni de ma mabunu no kura na ne to so edna yi a ye ne fourth time ho ben yi de beso ye ne se mabunu gyina wode won ankasa be ka bibia ho na de yo ma mo no sisia de pejapejam pa de amu wo bo ne se be betua boa ne bibia akoso de ma mabunu a wode nso ewo asokwa abato mpehua so na ono kura na samso de beti majority leader okọ bashuje fia ni nkase no sajo chimu ewo sene MVP aban no eba ye ni waye ni se shawodo odegu akwamu Ghana fo gina nya so faso tidu kura any free senior school di no ma hodo bebre aban atuma ye ni no ma hodo nso a odo nso atumi anya de free mpehua no so ni ne ewo se okama MVP aban kono nso hunu mu se o MVP aban ko de ya maku a se wankasa wo mu ne se ohunu se bibi ekoso a wotumi se wani ji wo mu pa vi se se bi odegu akwamu bia no ebo ma tumi ni bia ehoto no sabebepe ne nam so do so dia na mochi a asokwa uwura ho ade ho aye se abruchi be bia aye hyiren digina aye MVP aban a obo ano na fe ma odon so a etumi kenya na abesua no so nso omo nso edemo na sa kwan so dunya akonya so nku no ojechi mu de nti a obezo cheze esia de to so na we ne fourth time we aye ade kese a se omo boa no ne sa akonya ba edema odo gina egu akwemu chen de wo we ne aye asokwa hospital e wo ho no odon so enwie yo digina no obehede wo hwie digina na etumi aboa ne kase mu no sei eno chiemu e de chance ntwefo meko a unya akonya so nko na fe your falling forms no
ekodru be sobia na ka dipa hwe ma ho odi anke bia ko be ka se bia okra we ni ma ye fure koda obi mra ba de nyame be ka ene bem enti nyame anim ni a wode me ye waswa enti na dawroma wasaya ma me another chance say me na to aduma na ni na ejina eniema bi so asukafo ye ti ameda mose ani ni fe wa ameda mose ne se utie masempa a me de bremu se mon so behwe na adwuma no metimi aye me ba first time na me ni papa but second time mutie masem ede me papa na na do danko akufu ado ebe ka me ho no ene asukafo ene yewra Mahmoud Bawumia a wo ye ne abedi echire wo mo hihye pa wo mo adwuma dei ene bibia wo mo de ata me ene asukwa aye krabehwe ana me ho a ye kasa asukwa aye krabehwe na ye nka ne se adwuma no ye wieye na me nim se wie ye wieye ntinya nyame ade ta efie dan we so asadum me se me etwa adwuma no so me nim ne ye seta ebre bia sade mo ye no adwumaden a mo ye nti ema yetumi enya aba ahodo ewo oman mu no eno ana ene mejira ha se ya me sra ta adwumaden ana dinku ni die bebre tabe tuanwa no so da yewra Mahmoud Bawumia ani yewra na po a eye oboku prepare honorable omon kame ho a adwuma no ebeye de enti adwuma no sabe ebeye a enkoye de nti ana ye ne e wa ha nyina free chairman so eko executive eko police station executive medin kuto esre mo se ena ye de forms ya kwa ya je matumu yi de na cha se campaign ne kwan na ani yesiso enti ye ma ya ho keka enkosro ye sorry
Adia otie Madam Patricia Apiajen oko asokwa abatu mbetwa so a won rahye bedwani no kre ya na sanso deputy majority leader oko bachuje fia we independent so wo sa agina mu bio adonse asokwafo de maye paade de nyina ye mmone bi piaban aduma chechi mutiawa enti ye nyina ye hwe se besa retain the power na empuntu mapa ye je no asokwa na bro so se ne nei ewowe
Yanto akasebo no aso yaraso awo amanyosemo ene ajojo wuro bebre titu nu oma epe mampane de no oma kofale o nomination say wabato commission na sanso and Franka Crawford Adema Liberal Party of Ghana LPG Owura Kofi Akpalu ka LPG o se somi ha se ne hemfa na abeso ene ba bia abeso so bia onyaka LPG na utumi kokko so ni ba bia enti enenso wono akwa nomination ewoye abato commission no wakoye no woni santwafo kasaye en wachire anisuade hunu eniema owo edema Ghana wo ba eniema pai wo beye edema Ghana fo nyinara wachichemu ede achireye eni sentia wo pese Ghana fo ye to ba no ede ema no yenti Owura Kofi Akpalu LPG someha
and the Filipino, the documents in Bibiaba, we didn't see Bibiaba. President, to send your approach to Yankano, Jacob 500, 500. I read them. We are 700 Ghana cedis. The message is come back home. That's how I'm not going to get my day. Our first so university education, a very free. I'm going to be up university. Senior high school. You are not taking free. Now, so one baby, admission of the school, Barcelona. Jimmy, Jimmy, touch of us, tomato. So, I'm your number president. I'm probably JHS. I work for SS. The money 2,000 Ghana. Say, J. Trunk.
Ene TA ayakofa by Edema Liberal Party of Ghana LPG Owura Kofi Akpalu
ma yanko Deputy General Secretary ma NDC abanyekuru nyafo Mustafa Bande odne kasei na nkase gina wonde eseka no keka eko MVP abanyekuru ni mu de nje okeka eko MVP abanyekuru gina chese abanye ewomi gina de ho kire yen je gina nso no mai wo se gina so faso na ekoba ne sen na wo se binum enya so faso na binum ensu nya so faso de nkase gina akogina kwan hodo ye fa nkofo binum na fe ye de mo ko police adwuma mu wo se ade we wo se ye nsa na bibia fise Ghana ni babia wase onya akunya sonko dan ya fara na bibia mu no so hu so nchiti no anase obi ya mu ni kon bia wo mu na kwan amofa so no ase mo de nsem bi wada ne se nti hu ni se asisie e ma Ghana fo ebi no nti ena nam so a Deputy General Secretary ma NDC amenye kunya fo Mustafa Bande chese wontena ho nti wedi wo kan amana to Ghana Police Service ade a omoye no eje kura so kase wo kan ne se ade we wanka wasema aso do ko npa moni e wo memu nti so kama manfo gina ete ade a esaba no etewo na waye hwe ha na Ghana ni babi utum so qualify pa na so nam so ni kama fo bia wo memu nti no na akwa se ni bakuo bia na ye fe wo musa na bi won so kwa de fa ban ya chini ade sa no ma we gina yade a o se yetumi ehwe na ye jai ni sem nti no se police service no ana fe interior minister security service ni nyina mo hwe na sa no ma we gina ye ma hwe mu mapa enkoso se de be ya ye gina Ghana ni obi abenya so faso se koba ne se ni bakuma bi na nyam so faso sa no dia ana ha adwene pa na se ni ohia nsantwefo ne na fe ode to nsantwefo ni se bo die me pese me kamera to mfremam ni asemo ha adwen na se ne Deputy General Secretary dima NDC America no nyamfo Mustafa Bande ochiremu de chance nsantwefo se police adwuma ye fa nkofo bi no nam kuntu ase bi a odwene kwa wonte ase ye mu nyina na mo pefe na hwemu apa enkoso
last week, you got 3 MPP for no one and police for no one illegal recruitment. Oh, come on, illegal recruitment then include illegal recruitment. I did the job. Every single person the MPP is recruiting today into police or the military has paid 17 to 20,000 Ghana cedis. Where I got 4 people bribe. Where
I dare the Ghana police, I dare the immigration, I dare the interior minister to want to investigate into this. People didn't pay bribe, get enrolled into the recruitment that they are doing. Some of them will speak. 3 days ago, young man be born come up. So you're saying your electoral or immigration recruitment. I'm so sorry. I said that I know NPP. I said that they make 17,000. So let the government do. It's fraudsters in government. 2 million jobs there. We have 2 million jobs to do our hand. So we have become so depraved that everybody gets safe and then the media takes the 2 million jobs to do our hand. 2 million jobs in our hand. 2 million jobs, our here for and unless it's for Dr. Pulina or embassies. They are leaving the country.
Adia wotie deputy general secretary ma NDC amanye kudunya form Mustafa Bandi wache se adiwe hadwe pa sika bi mu tua Jessica kuma bi ewu sika mu du ankasa je oni bia na akwa bibia ho ye nyina nso qualify adenti na wose bane sa edu no jem se hwemu apan koso fi se apolice for ne bi kan ho na afa mo ye sado mo nyina interior minister no adna fe police service security service mo nyina hwemu apa enkoso makachi eno achi mu ede amayi
Kani domfrafo adema NPP amanyokono wa Sante Mantam ha Ora Daniel ejeni mboatin wono na akachire NDC any other opposition parties no ese de monya arehemu awabato komisa mu a mompani fo apese ejire nyina mo file nominations ade mo wo mu yi saa na monya gidie no a ne arehemu na nkwawie yese abato ye kwakoto ye abato komisa wo be ya adwuma pa wono wo gina finfin wo be hwa ama bibia adana kwa mu trodo enti wakache andisi for se ye beto obani be wiera se Ghana for se mo na mawi a eno anu no monkotena konwa so mo se na monyi ntum na monkotena so se beto konwa abani be wie na abato komisan se Ghana for se ye mpemo chenchina ache amamu nsi akonwa ne so biem abankese mu andisi fue mamu meho biem a eno nso monyi ntum de eno kra monyi moni oh na munkotena mo baabi na sa mo beji abato komisa edie se mo be file nomination na de Ghana for beka no komisa ne beka na mo ye mo ho wagadiri bi dia ene enya dia ebeboa ye nyina mo wo man nyina enti NDC for enyi kan ntum se abato no esunsunsanso bi ebebe bia wombe som akuma pamundi na chese o makwa kwatron baabi na afei wo mo no national chamber no just yesi edunketia wonu wo sodi bia na ni nsem bi obeka ne ade no ehu hia wo mo mfrase na nei ase edunketia no ni mpanifo ahudo bi ne kofari JDM nomination man no efe bibia bako na wie ye de Ghana for beka ne so omunyi ntumboko no omen ye nto aso awo ya somdwe mu ene wode nsemi tudwa bra no ne ofalase no koji abo ebo nkomo awo Sikka FM ha the point dwumadi so yentie orai ne nsemi a wode etudwa cheche ofalase no koji abo ora agenim boaten
did the maker chair NDC for ni say enne ya o manya gidie wo electoral commission no mu say on file on nominations there electoral commission genuine so ultimately on nomination forms electoral commission so today you have agreed with the electoral commission sir are credible and genuine say outcome of the election whatever comes out to be on the jatum sama also na kusi na alasa menyi didie o mu a esida na me de ma dia brɛw sɛ de to me ho sɛ yere so want to have ko ba bikufo bia ka fa ba bia bikufo obo tiri na wodi akɔde a adagaka sɛ me ya to point na se eti onyintum na move forward na emom metu on for sɛ onko sia sɛ de esi collate results from various polling stations
this time around why training kese pa
at the end of 7th December no electoral commission or to say goalkeeper ball no shot aboba kono so no ano no ye den ochie it is a MPP shots no ba in thousands now they buy in hundreds who say baba you to why dey wow
Sikka FM
electoral commission ehia abamu enfama obia electoral commission aduma oyeya answer near court no you saw what happened at the finger of God Ghana ha adeɛ baako si sɛ yato aba mente wo wase bai yankotwa tu yɛkase yɛnkɔhwehwem electoral reforms bebra and they enjoy no is it not as a result of what happened in 2012 election Supreme Court verdict.
Ene ati ye Canadian frafo de ma MPP amanyoko no awa santimantem ha owura Daniel ejeni mboate ne nsami so ne ejina na nwumre nsam hodo ensaka ne fi ha ne de esi na senkoma newsroom adwumafo nyina reporters na ye do mase wo ma bodwuma pa kwame ofori aboaje e wo ho ye semofo yo falase no kogye abo akra 95 years onkita poma enwumre technician see wa oda bullet fashion center no DJ Bullet no chinchin from ani nyina ede asom yei akenkan fo ne yeme nantie nua ba maame efum wa kafena mene
bermasam kofi dogla jidi ansa dugo
yara mu nyina se amamo